Ladies and gentlemen, the demand for a namaz room inside the secretariat in Jharkhand has gone now beyond that state. The same chorus is being raised in Uttar Pradesh. Following Jharkhand government's playbook, the so-called secular party or self-proclaimed champions of secularism, the Samajwadi Party too, has put its weight behind a namaz room. MLA Irfan Solanki demanded Uttar Pradesh Assembly Speaker should set up a separate room in the Assembly where Muslim MLAs can offer their namaz. But unlike the Soren government, which has turned a deaf ear to those calling it appeasement, the Yogi government has wasted no time in snubbing this selective move. The BJP has questioned the appeasement politics. Listen in to the war of words.
अक्सर ये होता है कि जब हमारी विधानसभा की कार्रवाई चलती है तो हम लोग जो मुसलमान विधायक हैं वो अक्सर कार्रवाई छोड़ के मस्जिद जाते हैं नमाज पढ़ने के लिए। अगर विधानसभा में ही एक प्रेयर रूम हो, कभी कभी ऐसा होता है क्योंकि नमाज का टाइम हमारे यहाँ फिक्स है। जैसे 1 बजे की टाइम है तो 1 बजे होगी, 5 बजे वाली 5 बजे होगी, 6-7 बजे वाली 6-7 बजे होगी। जो उसका टाइम अगर एक प्रेयर रूम छोटा सा ही सही 4-5 लोगों जहाँ जाए अपनी नमाज पढ़े वापस आके हाउस में रहेंगे, एक तो इससे कार्रवाई नहीं छूटेगी।
झारखंड में या कहीं भी संविधान यानी सबों के लिए समान कानून। अगर किसी धर्म विशेष को अगर तुष्टिकरण के लिए आप नमाज पढ़ने के लिए देते हैं तो हम सबों को भी हनुमान चालीसा और गीता पाठ का जगह मिलना चाहिए।
But what the so-called secular lobby conveniently ignores is when the Supreme Court firmly delinked religion from politics. Let me tell them what the top court observed in the 1994 S.R. Bomai versus Union of India case. It said that in matters of state, religion has no place. Article 25 prohibits the government to patronize a particular religion. Constitution doesn't permit mixing religion and state power, but we have seen what happened in Jharkhand. Politics and religion can't be mixed, but yet the chorus for namaz room is growing louder. The hypocrisy of the lobby is appalling, which is quick to be actually branding the BJP as the communal party, but has absolutely no explanation to give for itself. It's called communal when NDA government brought in the CAA to save persecuted minorities, but the Jharkhand Mukti Morcha is secular by building a separate room just for namaz. The BJP is communal when it rejected Jharkhand government's decision to build namaz room, but the JMM is secular when the CM mocked Hindu Asta, saying those dressed in saffron go about raping women. The NDA government followed the Supreme Court verdict on Ram Mandir for the construction, but the Samajwadi Party is hailed as secular when it wanted review of cases against Muslims jailed on terror charges in Muzaffarnagar. The BJP is communal when its government brought a law to ban triple talaq, but Congress is the champion of secularism when it amended Hindu Marriage Act but did not touch the issue of polygamy amongst Muslims. And that, ladies and gentlemen, brings me to the legitimate question on the Newshour tonight. Will secularists condemn the namaz room controversy? That's the question and the debate. Coming up on the other side. Hashtag Yogi rejects namaz room.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 2 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
And joining me tonight, Mr. Bharatiya, national spokesperson of the BJP, Shantanu Gupta, author, Abhishek Sudhir, advocate and political analyst, T.A. Rahmani, national secretary of the SDPI, Mohammad Adil Hassan of the AIMIM, youth president and advocate. But my first question goes to Mohan Das Pai, chairman of Arin Capital Partners. And Mohan Das Pai, secularism labels are actually not from a certification authority like the ISI. They are available dime a dozen from political parties of a certain hue. So when there is a namaz room that's made in Jharkhand or a demand in Uttar Pradesh, even before the elections can actually heat up, it's said to be absolutely secular. If the same issue had been made by Yogi Adityanath, the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, they would have gone ahead and said, oh my God, this is the communal beginning to the Uttar Pradesh campaign. How does this work in this country?
Navika, this is the secular hypocrisy that all political parties, barring the BJP, practice. For them, being secular means pandering to the fundamentalists of one particular religion and putting the other major religion as communal. That is the politics they face. Why do they want to do that? They want to attract the Muslim vote. It's very clear. And the poor Muslims have fallen a prey to this all these years. From the time of independence to now, the Muslims have become the poorest community in this country. They were not the poorest community in 1947. They become the poorest community because for their leaders, like some of them here, getting a prayer room, getting government money for Hajj is more important than getting scholarship education, improving the quality of life for everybody, and making sure they have a way to earn a decent living. They've been practicing that communal politics for a long period of time, and this is all they got to show. This is exposing all of them. They never practiced secularism. They were communalists. They are following fundamentalist trends, and all the Muslim leaders have failed. In fact, K. Rahman Khan, the former deputy chairman of the Rajya Sabha, has in a book where he has told very clearly that the Muslim community leaders have pandered to the extremists and the fundamentalists in their community and deprived the Muslim community of access to education, joining the mainstream. This is one more case. I mean, by doing this, what are they exposing? They are going to make sure that the Hindu community gets consolidated, the Hindu votes gets consolidated, and they'll be up the creek at the time of the election. This is one more example of their hypocrisy as regards religion. They're not followers of any secular democracy. They're all communal politicians.
Well, very well said. Abhishek Sudhir, you're an advocate. I want to ask you, do you find this demand by a Samajwadi Party MLA as totally communal?
Absolutely not. I am an advocate, I'm a constitutional lawyer, I'm a secularist and a proud secularist. Now I want to ask Mohandas Shantanu Gupta and Gaurav Bhatia, there is a Namaz room in the Bihar Assembly. And the Bihar Assembly, you see, I think the last time I checked, the Chief Minister was one, Nitish Kumar, and there are a couple of Deputy Chief Ministers who are from the, I think, the Bharatiya Janta Party. Mr. Mohandas Bhatia, please tell us, are you ready to condemn the government in Bihar as communal? Yes. Mr. Bhatia can condemn them or Mr. Gupta can condemn them? Or why don't you lock up the Namaz room first thing tomorrow? Do you have the courage to do that? Please answer, Mr. Bhatia.
Mr. Bhatia.
Yes. So, Navika, I will definitely answer the question posed by my fellow panelist. But before that, my opening remarks. I was hearing Irfan Solanki. Navika, please ask him to be quiet. Otherwise, believe me, I am not here to, answer his question. He is completely uncivilized. Every debate he does. You are the anchor. Please ask him to be quiet.
1 minute, Mr. Sudhir, Mr. Gaurav Bhatia will respond to you, but just hold on for your turn. Allow Mr. Gaurav Bhatia to make his point. I'll come back to you. Mr. Bhatia.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Now I will not answer him because he doesn't deserve that I answer his question. He's not up to the same league. I will make my opening remarks. Yes. Navika, please, I remain to be quiet to expose such people who are uncivilized in debate. I am okay with that.
Answer the
please
question.
Control him.
Answer the question.
Please control him. Yes. First of all, I was hearing Irfan Solanki, and the point to be noted, Navika, is he said that when I have to offer namaz, I leave the assembly and then I go to offer namaz. I wish to ask him as a legislator, you are not a Maulana and a Mufti first. You are a legislator first.
Before you ask
an
questions,
MP
why
and
don't you answer
MLA
my question?
owes his
Are you
duty
condemning?
Mr. Sudhir, stop interrupting for a minute. This is challenging for viewers if you speak over each other. It is challenging for viewers. The viewers are here to hear each and every person on the panel. Allow him to make his point and then I'll come back to you. 1 minute. Yes.
Navika, how cheap can it get on your debate? You please tell me. Did I interrupt him when he was speaking? What is this kind of, you answer my question, otherwise, I don't appreciate that. He's not my school principal. He's not judge of the court. Am I answerable to him? A nincompoop comes. He interrupts every time. I am running short of patience. He needs to be quiet when I'm making my point.
Make your point, Mr. Bhatia.
Thank you. So the point here is simple. Navika, these very people, the pseudo-seculars, they talk about secularism. Today, when you asked him, is this secularism? He said yes. But he's a lawyer, I think, you know, but it is sad he doesn't even know what the Supreme Court said. You gave a judgment of the Supreme Court. I will also quote. The Supreme Court said this, and I quote, the state is not only prohibited to establish any religion of its own, but is also prohibited from identifying itself with or favoring any particular religion. So the basic question is, what is the need of a prayer room to offer namaz in the assembly?
So why is there such a room in the Bihar assembly? It's a valid question to ask.
I will answer that now. Since you are asking, I will answer that. If you ask me constitutionally, either you provide a room to the denomination of every religion or don't have a room. Very simple. The principle of equality. And my view is very clear. Legislative assembly is for legislation. It is not for offering namaz. And that is why I don't know in the Bihar assembly, when did this room come into existence? It could be a RJD government. I will do my research, I'll get back. But on a matter of principle, I'm speaking about the constitution. It is unacceptable.
So Mr. Sudhir, I want to ask you, just ask you one question. You know, forget Bihar for the moment. You are from Uttar Pradesh and the demand was made in Uttar Pradesh. So I want to ask you, are there no Hindus in Uttar Pradesh? Are there no Sikhs in Uttar Pradesh? Are there no Parsis or Jains or Buddhists? Why is the demand only for a namaz ghar?
Navika, I am very happy if the Mahant of the Gorakhnath Mutt, who also happens to be the Chief Minister, was to build a mini Gorakhnath temple in the assembly here. There is enough space in the Vidhan Bhavan. Ganesh ji ka bhi ek mandir banayenge, Insha Ganesha. Let us all live in peace and harmony together. Ganga
So you are saying in an assembly where people vote for legislators to go and make laws and to decide on governance and projects and ask each other questions that are meant for the public. You all will go there, somebody will do a kirtan, somebody will do their azan, and people of India be damned. And people of India be damned. So you want to mock the Hindu faith and you say, हमने तो नमाज घर मांगा है, आपको मांगना है तो आप मांग लो, लाइन में खड़े हो जाओ, लेकिन नमाज घर तो बहुत जरूरी है. Shantanu Gupta, I want to ask you, why does it come so easily to them to mock the Hindu faith in this manner?
I am a Ram Bhakt, but I am also secular.
Navika, Mulayam Singh Yadav,
you are a Hindu, but you are also the supporter of a party that puts its own label of secularism on itself, wants to stand up only for one community, forgets the other community, yet reserves the right to be a secular party, a secular dispensation, even when they come to power. Mr. Sudhir, if you are an advocate, you should know two principles. One is justice, not only is to be done, it has to be seen to be done, number one. And number two, equality and equitable. Where is the argument of equality and equitable, which has become a joke between Jharkhand and the demand in Uttar Pradesh and Shantanu Gupta? That's the question I'm asking you. What about equality? What about justice? What about the equitable nature of such constitutional buildings, institutional and positions?
If you want to condemn the namaz,
Sudhir bhai, my
I'm
name
not
is
condemning
Shantanu.
anybody.
Like the
There
name,
is a
you can take
place
it.
and time for everything, not in the assembly.
Chief Minister.
Yeah. So Navika, Mulayam Singh Yadav has been the Chief Minister of UP for 3 times. Akhilesh Yadav has been the Chief Minister for UP for 1 time. In all these 4 terms, they never remembered this namaz ghar, and now just 6 months before the election, they put this Irfan Solanki in front and in front of the Jharkhand. You just trying to signaling the Muslim community that this is the time we are going to beat BJP, and all this 18-19% vote share of Muslims, lock, stock and barrel should come to us. And they're giving multiple signals. Sambal MP recently, Shafiqur Rahman Burke, was very happy when Taliban took over Afghanistan. So this is a Akhilesh Yadav's strategy.
Shantanu, we are not discussing the Taliban. The Taliban
signaling.
is going on another
Try to understand. Try to understand. I'm making a very nuanced point.
Mr. Abhishek Sudhir, please don't overexert yourself. Stick to your arguments and stick to your arguing of cases in the court. On this channel and on this show, allow me to do the moderation and controlling of all the panelists. मेरा काम आप मत ले लीजिए, क्योंकि आप बाकी बहुत लोगों का काम कर रहे हैं, इंक्लूडिंग डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ सेक्युलर सर्टिफिकेट्स. मेरा काम मुझे कर लेने दीजिए, ठीक है? थोड़ी शांति बनाए रखें.
Navika, just 20 more seconds. So through the Chambal MP, through Irfan Solanki, Akhilesh has given them the work that keeps signaling the Muslim community so that this 18-19% vote comes lock, stock and barrel to us, right? Why it's happening in Bihar Assembly and when it happened, someone can find out. I have seen people of Muslim community praying in roads, praying inside aircraft, praying inside gardens, so they can pray anywhere, like if it's so important for them during the assembly. Like I think Irfan Solanki said, he has to leave the work. So for him, doing legislative work is not so important. Doing that namaz is so important, then he could do it anywhere. Because otherwise this request is endless. They will say, then it should happen in every government building. It should happen in every government hospital. It should happen in every government school. And then this Pandora box will open in every assembly, every parliament. I think this is just a signaling before the election.
I completely agree with you, and I want to ask Mohammad Adil Hassan Saab of the AIMIM. I want to ask you a question, and I want to ask you, you know, अगर योगी आदित्यनाथ शुरू करते यूपी का कैंपेन जाकर राम मंदिर के पास से एक सुर में और ताल में आपने सबने खड़े हो जाना था और कहना था communal beginning to the election campaign, because this is a government for the Hindus by the Hindus. लेकिन ओवैसी साहब जाके अयोध्या को फैजाबाद बुला लें, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, सेक्युलर है. आफ्टर ऑल इट इज सेक्युलर. अयोध्या फैजाबाद एक ही बात है, क्या फर्क पड़ता है? नेम चेंज हो गया है, नोटिफिकेशन आ गया है, उत्तर प्रदेश के चुनाव की बात हो रही है और उत्तर प्रदेश के नोटिफिकेशन से उस जगह का नाम अयोध्या हो गया. बट दैट डजंट मैटर, इट्स सेक्युलर टू कॉल इट फैजाबाद. ऑन द अदर हैंड, ऑफ कोर्स, इट्स वेरी सेक्युलर टू आस्क फॉर नमाज घर in every assembly. How does it matter whether you ask for a Hanuman Chalisa घर or not, or an Ardas घर or not? वो सब जरूरी नहीं है, लेकिन नमाज घर तो होना चाहिए. और सेक्युलर तो आप हैं ही, ये तो हम सवाल ही नहीं पूछ सकते, हमें तो अलाउड ही नहीं है पूछना कि भाई आप सेक्युलर कैसे हो गए. आप योगी आदित्यनाथ को रोज कम्युनल कह दिया करिए सुबह उठते ही. क्यों भाई? ये कहाँ का इंसाफ है?
फैजाबाद में पार्लियामेंट्री सेगमेंट जो है वो लोकसभा भी फैजाबाद कहलाता है.
तो आप पार्लियामेंट्री सेगमेंट की इलेक्शन लड़ रहे हैं क्या वहां पे? नहीं, आगाज जो ओवैसी साहब ने किया, पार्लियामेंट्री इलेक्शन का आगाज किया था.
पार्लियामेंट्री सेगमेंट में
पार्लियामेंट्री इलेक्शन का आगाज किया था. पार्लियामेंट्री इलेक्शन तो 2024 में आएगा ना, तो पार्लियामेंट्री कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी का बड़ा ध्यान रखते हैं वो.
He is a national leader. He is a national leader. He is not limited to a constituency.
Navika, in the posters it was written Janpad Faizabad means district Faizabad. So they were wrong.
Owaisi Sahib can go travel anywhere for campaign for MIM.
Okay, but that's secular, no?
Or Gorakhpur or Ghaziabad. He can travel anywhere.
No, he can travel. Sir, of course he can travel anywhere, but he can't call it Janpad Faizabad. Because Janpad is not Faizabad, Janpad is Ayodhya. Just a little bit of facts, if you would, refer to. Facts कभी-कभी ज़रूरी होते हैं, inconvenient भी होते हैं, लेकिन facts कभी-कभी ज़रूरी भी हो जाते हैं.
आप अपनी बातें मुझ पर नहीं थोप सकते.
नहीं, बिल्कुल हमारी तो थोप ही नहीं. आप अपनी बातें हम पर थोप सकते हैं, क्योंकि आप सेक्युलर हैं, हम कम्युनल हैं.
इसको मानना पड़ेगा आपको.
जी मानेंगे जी. हाँ, हम तो डर के ही रहेंगे. आप डराएंगे, हम डरेंगे.
क्यों हम डराएंगे? सुबह से शाम तक डराने का काम तो आप कर रहे हैं. आप कर रही हैं.
मैंने कहा, आपने मुझे कहा मैं नहीं थोप सकती, तो मैं पीछे हट गई. भाई मैं नहीं थोप रही, लेकिन ये सेक्युलरिज्म और कम्युनल का पट्टा आप क्यों थोपते हैं लोगों पर? आप क्यों थोपते हैं लोगों पर? आप कहां से सेक्युलर हो गए?
योगी आदित्यनाथ उस प्रदेश के चीफ मिनिस्टर हैं. जो कर रहे हैं जनता जवाब देगी. चाहे अयोध्या से वो शुरुआत करे, गाजियाबाद से करे, गोरखपुर से करे, MIM पूरे ताकत से, मजबूती से उत्तर प्रदेश की आवाम की लड़ाई, दलितों की, वंचितों की, मजलूमों की लड़ाई लड़ेगी. हम हाथरस की भी बात उठाएंगे, हम कोविड में जो
गौरव भाटिया रिस्पॉन्ड।
नाविका, ये अगर AIMIM के प्रवक्ता हैं तो मैं इनको याद दिला दूं, और इनके साथ सपा के प्रवक्ता को भी, अफजल गुरु की फांसी न्यायिक हत्या है। याकूब मेमन को इसलिए लटकाया जा रहा है क्योंकि वो मुसलमान है, और ये लोग जो है ट्रिपल तलाक का विरोध करते हैं कि ये गलत है, ट्रिपल तलाक जो है नहीं आना चाहिए। और ये वही लोग हैं, सपा के तो मैनिफेस्टो में लिखा हुआ है, भी पूछिएगा।
उस वक्त आप उसी सपा की दरबारी कर रहे थे।
बीच में मत बोलिए भैया, क्यों बीच में बोल रहे? अच्छा बताइए, मैं आपके बीच में बोला? तालिबानी है, मार देंगे जान से हमें। अपनी बारी में बोलिए, अपनी बारी में बोलिए ना, तर्कों में धार लाइए, चिल्लाने से क्या होगा? हाँ सुनिए नाविका, द गुड थिंग इन इंडिया इज दैट after Narendra Modi ji became the Prime Minister, there has been a paradigm shift. Hindus, Sikhs, Christians, Parsis and Jains and Buddhists refuse to be treated as second-rate citizens. They are equal citizens. But Samajwadi Party or AIMIM, they only believe in communal politics. Somebody is shaking his head like a fool. He doesn't even understand what argument I'm making. I will show him the manifesto that I have. It says that if it is a Muslim accused person, then he will be released from jail and cases will be withdrawn.
So I want to ask you, Abhishek Sudhir, I want to ask you, Abhishek Sudhir, just because somebody is a Muslim, cases should be withdrawn against them? Or does it depend on the crime? Does it depend on the crime anymore, or does it depend on the faith that you follow, the religion that you follow?
The religion of a person is actually a very deciding factor in whether they get prosecuted or not. That person's name is Kapil Mishra.
तालिबान के लॉयर
कपिल मिश्रा
कौन आ रहा था मुजफ्फरनगर राइट्स में? स्टेट प्लान में कौन आ रहा था? मौलाना को अखिलेश यादव से मिलने भूल गए? हम लोग मुआवजा देंगे मुस्लिम परिवारों को, नॉट टू द हिंदू
हार्ट अटैक हो जाएगा।
बोलो ना।
हमने कारसेवकों को मार दिया। समाजवादी पार्टी, हम लोग मुस्लिम लड़कियों को तो हम लोग मुस्लिम लड़कियों को देंगे वजीफा, हम लोग बाकी लड़कियों को नहीं देंगे क्लास 10 तो 12
Hinduism is coming to an end.
नमाज रूम आप कह रहे हैं, Abhishek Sudhir, and I want to tell you the story of Nizam Bhai. Nizam Bhai is directing this show, and he is in office from 10 in the morning till 11:30 in the night. He doesn't need a namaz room. There is no namaz room in Times Now office. There is no namaz room for Nizam Bhai in Times Now's office. And Nizam Bhai, can I please invite you into the studio? Can I please invite you into the studio? If I can get Nizam Bhai on a window. Nizam Bhai के लिए यहाँ कोई नमाज रूम नहीं है. वो किसी भी 2 से 2.5 घंटे का विंडो जो होता है उसमें अपनी नमाज पढ़ लेते हैं. सच्चे मुसलमान है, 5 बार पढ़ते हैं. 5 बार पढ़ते हैं और दफ्तर में पढ़ लेते हैं. उन्हें नमाज घर की आज तक जरूरत नहीं पड़ी. मेरे साथी हैं पिछले 16 साल से इसी दफ्तर में. और रहमानी साहब, मैं आपसे पूछ रही हूँ रहमानी साहब, कहाँ लिखा गया है कि नौकरी के समय आपको नमाज रूम चाहिए नमाज पढ़ने के लिए? कहीं पर होता है?
नहीं, मैंने भी आपके स्टूडियो में नमाज पढ़ी है 1-2 बार, ऐसे कोई बात नहीं है. बट नाविका, आई वांट टू स्टार्ट विद योर ओन. आई एम थैंकफुल दैट यू हैव कोटेड द SR बोबाई केस एंड आई वांट टू स्टार्ट बाय
नो, बट आई वांट टू आस्क यू, अगर आपने स्टूडियो में नमाज पढ़ी है तो ये असेंबली में नमाज कक्ष की, नमाज कमरे की जरूरत है या नहीं है? पहले तो बुनियादी तौर पे मैं आपका जानना चाहती हूँ. क्या
वही आ रहा हूँ मैं वही आ रहा हूँ नाविका, कि देखिए आपने SR बोबाई का केस कोट किया है. मोर देन 20,000 पुलिस स्टेशन आर देयर इन द कंट्री. एवरी पुलिस स्टेशन हैव एट लीस्ट ए मंदिर. एवरी पुलिस स्टेशन, whenever there are the government projects, any government project government start, it's with the breaking of a barrier. whenever there is any new building, the government building is coming up and the construction is started, there is a Bhumi Pujan. It's all are the Hindu
I think you missed the Central Vista project
and
where there was Sarv Dharm Puja, where there was a Sarv Dharm recitation. शायद आपने वो देखा नहीं.
No, don't deviate, please. नहीं.
Central Vista सरकारी नहीं है.
Don't deviate this thing and नहीं सेंट्रल विस्टा तो अब हुआ है, इसके अलावा भी बहुत सारे 10-70 साल से चल रहा है. बीजेपी का नहीं, कांग्रेस के जमाने में भी था. सेकंड पॉइंट आई वांट टू कोट हियर दैट एवरी रेलवे स्टेशन देयर इज अ प्रेयर रूम, एवरी एयरपोर्ट there is a prayer room.
But it's not called a namaz room. It is not called a namaz room, it is called a prayer room.
Yes. That's
Why don't you all change the name? That's what the BJP is good at, changing names.
So I'm asking you, Jharkhand mein they have taken out a notification, and the Jharkhand notification, may I read out to you? The Jharkhand notification says, शुक्रवार को झारखंड के आदेश जो आया था उसमें कहा था नए विधानसभा सदन में नमाज अदा करने के लिए नमाज कक्ष के रूप में कमरा संख्या TW348 आवंटित किया जाता है. दिस इज नॉट अ प्रेयर रूम, दिस इज अ नमाज कक्ष. रहमानी साहब,
पॉलिटिकल टैक्टिक. I am very clear. It's a political tactic. I want to remind you.
So will you call Samajwadi Party? Will you call Samajwadi Party and the Jharkhand Mukti Morcha as communal parties?
He made a temple. He made a temple inside, and we did not object because जरूरत ईजाद की बात है.
रहमानी साहब, छोटा सवाल, सीधा सवाल, सटीक सवाल. Will you call Hemant Soren communal chief minister? Will you call Samajwadi a communal party?
No, it's a I call it.
You should call
whether it is Irfan Solanki or it is the chief minister of Jharkhand. It's a political gimmick. Otherwise, they could have called it a prayer room.
योगी आदित्यनाथ करें तो communal. गौरव भाटिया हेमंत सोरेन करें तो पॉलिटिकल, योगी आदित्यनाथ या मोदी करें या अमित शाह करें तो कम्युनल.
मिस्टर रहमानी, आपसे मैं पूछता हूं, आपकी नमाज है, हमारी पूजा कुछ नहीं किया. अगर आप कहते हैं कि नमाज रूम ठीक है, वाई नॉट फॉर द सिख, वाई नॉट फॉर द हिंदूज? अच्छा, एक बात और बताइए रहमानी जी, दिस इज अ क्वेश्चन फॉर यू. पार्लियामेंट में अगर हम भी हनुमान मंदिर एक बनाए और उसके साथ कहें एक शिव जी का मंदिर होना चाहिए, सिख लोग कहें एक छोटा सा गुरुद्वारा होना चाहिए, फिर आपको आपत्ति नहीं होनी चाहिए गोइंग बाय दैट लॉजिक? यूपी में भी यही होना चाहिए. बोलिए, आज नेशनल टेलीविजन पे
स्वागत करने वाले भी तो अवेलेबल होना.
मैं कह रहा हूँ स्वागत तो करिए भैया,
तो अवेलेबल होना चाहिए ना पूजा के लिए.
स्वागत तो करिए ना.
नहीं तो आपको लगता है कि सारे हिंदू नास्तिक है, सारे हिंदू नास्तिक है, अवेलेबल नहीं होते? शांतनु गुप्ता, what does Dr. Rahmani mean by saying पूजा करने वाले भी तो अवेलेबल होने चाहिए?
पूजा करके निकलते हैं सारे.
When Prime Minister Narendra Modi after his 2014 victory went to Banaras and prayed in front of Ganga, they all mocked him. Oh my God! After the victory he's showing his Hindu credentials, right? I think Dr. Rahmani is giving a circular logic. He's stuck in his own logic. पूजा करने वाले होने चाहिए. मतलब बीजेपी के जो 300 से ज्यादा सांसद हैं वो पूजा नहीं करते हैं कोई. I think Rahmani जी, one side you're saying it's a political gimmick, then saying कि पूजा करने वाले होते हैं.
बाजार में आके करते हैं, बाजार में आके करते हैं ना. आप ही की विधि है. आप तो सुबह घर से
देखिए, दिल्ली में देखिए, रोड पे नमाज पढ़ते हैं लोग, एयरपोर्ट के अंदर नमाज पढ़ते हैं लोग, गार्डन ऑक्यूपाई करके नमाज पढ़ते हैं लोग. तो
आप खुद
में भी साइड में पढ़ लेंगे लोग.
को स्नान और पूजा किए बगैर नाश्ता नहीं करते हो. घर से निकलना दूर की बात है, और आप सड़क पे खड़े होके पूजा नहीं करते हो. घर से निकलने से पहले ही पूजा पाठ कर लेते हो.
I'm still not getting what this argument is all about. Abhishek Sudhir, I have only one fundamental question. If you want to campaign for a namaz room, fair point, do it. जबकि मैं समझती हूं कि किसी भी असेंबली या पार्लियामेंट में ऐसा होना नहीं चाहिए. It's run by the constitution and the constitution is the religion in such places. कल को आप कहेंगे कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट में भी आपको पूजा घर चाहिए या नमाज घर चाहिए. You know, there is a constitution and some issues should be left to the constitution. But to have a narrow view and only bat for one religion. Talk like somebody who studied law and the constitution.
Who is batting for one religion?
इरफान सोलंकी साहब जो हैं आपकी पार्टी से हैं, उन्होंने नमाज के अलावा किसी घर का रिक्वेस्ट किया? उन्होंने किया? आपने सुना? मैंने नहीं सुना. गौरव भाटिया आपने सुना? किसी ने नहीं सुना. And मोहनदास पाई, in the end I only want to ask you this question. When they say आपको चाहिए आप भी मांग लो, they didn't think about it, but they are secular. If we want it, or if somebody else wants a gurdwara, then they can ask for it. But they are secular, and if we raise that issue, we are not. What do you call this hypocrisy? Is this political or is this communal?
Navika, this is total communal hypocrisy practiced by them. You know what Mr. Remani said is very correct. If you want to help people, have a prayer room for all faiths. First, you should have no place for prayer in the assembly. If you want to help everybody, don't call it a namaz room or a puja room. Have a prayer room for everybody, like Mr. Remani said, where anybody can go and do their prayers as a convenience, as a public convenience. Have it for everybody, but don't favor any faith. So that is true secularism. I don't think you should have it for only one faith. You should have it for everybody.
That's the point. The narrow definition of secularism has been exposed with this new move of namaz ghars in various assemblies.
Absolutely.
Where will we stop our communalization? Why don't we just follow the constitution, especially in institutions that are meant to be just and equitable, and follow the constitution? Why should we bring in either religion or politics into it? That's the big question. Thank you very much to all my panelists. Taking a short break. Debate number 2 on the other side.